Mish, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of The Fearless Money Mindset by Arian Simone. I just recently got this book and finished it. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to stick around and check out the rest of the video. So Arian Simone herself is an entrepreneur. The book opens up just about like setting the stage. So it is 140 pages, and then there's a bonus chapter, and then there's some additional resources at the back of the book. But it was a quick, good read. I finished it in about 2 days, and I probably would have finished it in one sitting had I not had to go to work. But yeah, I would consider this to fall under the financial side, the self-development, and then always the faith side. So I've read her other book, which I will talk about at the end, that deals a lot on how God has played a role within her specific lifestyle. So the book itself is broken up into 7 chapters, not including the bonus chapter, and they each revolve around 7 different principles, which are the belief principle, the thought principle, the speech principle, the principle of sowing, the action principle, the relationship principle, and the principle of stewardship. So two of the questions that she actually poses in one of the chapters that I feel is applicable to all of the chapters, it talks about, if there was no applause, what would you produce? And then, what is the highest version of yourself? I feel that both of those questions just tie into bettering yourself and doing the things that you need to be doing on a consistent basis. And then also the why, the purpose, the bigger picture as to why you do the things that you do day in and day out. So some of the important aspects of the book that I had wrote down, it says you have the power to dictate your income, dictate your revenue, establish your net worth, and achieve massive goals. And as of recently, when I've been online, I feel that this resonated with me, is just because it's like the things that you're supposed to be doing and the things that you will achieve are already inside of you. Like, you don't need to look outside of yourself to achieve certain things. I feel that to get started, you have everything that you need to get started. And then along the way, like, people will come into your circle or opportunities will present themselves, and then that will help you expand to new levels. And then it talks about the word naivete, which is a conjugation of the word naive. But what I liked about this spin that they put on things, they were just talking about how some people are so naive about certain things that they don't realize that something to somebody else is seen so hard because they've already placed so many parameters and so many barriers on that. But the person that goes in kind of this naivete spirit is just effortlessly breezing through things. It's because those parameters were not something that they set for themselves, or though they don't consider certain things to be barriers that other people do consider barriers. You're called to do great things. You start getting nudges that push you to do more. And then it also talks about efficacy. So efficacy is something that I learned about like 2 years ago, which is basically the ability to produce a desired result. And I feel that word just has so much power to it, just because if you're using the word efficacy, like the amount of confidence that you place in yourself to achieve a desired result is just top tier. So being that I said that there is a little bit of biblical principles to this, it brings up Hebrews chapter 10 verses 35 through 36. It says, don't throw away your confidence, will be richly rewarded. And it says, don't become hostage to the goals that no longer serve you. And I find that part to be very interesting, because I feel like at the start of the year, we all come up with these goals and we have the best intentions, and then some of us feel like conflicted to continue with things that no longer serve us. And as I've gotten older, that has been something that I have come to realize, that if something is no longer serving me, I have the option to change direction while still in motion of going one place. It's just like, no, I changed my mind. I have the right to change my mind about something, and I am going to live and own up to the fact that I changed my mind and be perfectly okay. It's like, okay, I thought that this is where I want to go, but now my life has changed, or I've gained this new information, and that's just no longer the direction that I see myself going in. And we have to be 100% okay standing on what we say, even when that may change a little bit because of what new experiences that we may have had. Be mindful that even some really good opportunities are distractions, because they take time, attention, and focus away from your purposeful goals. And focus is always something that I personally keep like at the back of my head, just like, where are my efforts going? What am I doing, and how well am I doing that? And sometimes we do get caught up about like the shiny things off to the side, that we forget that like our goal is straight ahead. On the left is good, but where I'm going to, that's great. And that's what I'm trying to get to. And it says, don't be a control freak, do the work, activate your faith, and leave room for God to perform miracles. So that really touched my spirit, just because I feel that a lot of times we get caught up in what we can produce and what we can do, that we don't even realize that if we bring God into that mix, whatever we're doing is going to be magnified, and it's going to be exceedingly better than what we could have produced on our own. Some of my personal thoughts in regards to things is just that, you know, my own personal goal is just to build a financial legacy that allows me to care for the people closest to me. But part of that also includes me being able to give people the tools that they would need in order to build their own financial legacy. So after reading this book, I had the chance to reevaluate some of my approaches and techniques and methods that I've been using and implementing when it came to my own business. So going into 2024, I've already decided that my main focus will be my personal business. So it's like from starting now, because I'm not going to wait until 2024, but starting now and then moving forward, what can I do to personally bridge the gap between where I'm at and where I want to be, while allowing enough space for God to do what he does in regards to that. So I came up with this thing. It just says, you know, I vow to make a concerted effort to make sure I'm believing in myself, sowing into my future, and having my actions align with my goals/business model. Building a highly successful business to me entails doing the daily things to make the long-term goals attainable, investing in various aspects of my business/myself, and making sure the things I'm doing are reflective of the scalable brand that I'm working towards creating. So figuring out, you know, which areas to push a little harder in, and then which areas to step back in to get me to the places that I desire to go. People fall short of their goals because they relied too heavily on logic, when in fact, building anything extraordinary or achieving something remarkable requires a certain level of risk and unrelenting faith. And just in my own journey thus far, not just about like with YouTube stuff, but real life stuff outside of here, is just like, what am I telling myself day in and day out? And then, are my actions reflective of the faith side of things, or are my actions reflective of the fear side of things? Because the book pinpoints that, you know, faith and fear cannot coexist with one another. You either lean towards one, and the one that you lean towards typically is the one that is reflective of the daily actions that you do day in and day out. So the danger of being in proximity to mediocrity is the illusion of greatness. And I took that specific quote because I want to make sure that as I'm progressing through life, that I'm constantly surrounding myself around people who will push me to new levels and to attain new things. So you want to be surrounded by people that are for personal growth and who take finances seriously and who are trying to reach new tax brackets and who have goals set for themselves and who try to attain those goals. And it's not just a thing to do, but it's actually a lifestyle. So I don't like people that do things just for the sake of doing things. It's just like, what's the purpose? What's the why? If you're doing it for vanity purposes, probably not something that specifically aligns with me. Thing that I wanted to mention was this quote at the back of the book. It says, the worst thing we can do when God's promise is on our life is to look around and try to verify what God has said. The enemy uses the absence of physical proof to keep us from trusting in God. So I know through my own spiritual journey, there's been times where I'm just like, I know God told me this, but it hasn't come to fruition. And now it's been so long, I'm starting to question, was that ever told to me? And things like that. And it's just like, sweetheart, be at peace. Know that something was told to you and know that when the right timing comes, those things will then become your reality. So in the meantime, it's like I'm prepping my life to receive those things that I know that are coming to me. And it's just that simple. But yeah, that's just a quick review of the book. Two other books that I thought were good reads as well that seem similar are Don't Settle for Safe by Sarah Jakes Roberts and Breakthrough Sold Separately by Brandy Harvey. So with those two books that I mentioned, those are both quick, simple reads too. With the Breakthrough Sold Separately, this is under 150 pages. And then this one is an older book. Sorry, mine does have a few things because I've had it for years. I really enjoyed this book as well, which is a quick read. Honestly, if you wanted to go out and get all three of the books, I honestly think that you could. You can easily read them all within a week just because they are just so simple and quick reads. But this is stuff that I like to be in tune with. What I'm noticing, I'm just like, wow, bring in the faith aspect of my finances, and I tend to be sold on it. But as I said, I have in the past, I've read Arian Simone's Fearless book, and this is a book that I'm going to reread starting December, so I'm going to take the next few days off. But this is just a 21-day devotional that focuses on the business aspect of things and other entrepreneurs. So it's been a few years since I've read it, but pretty much, you read a story and then you read about a female entrepreneur at the back, and there's some assignments, some affirmations that goes along with everything. Going into next year, I do want to be more intentional about the energy that I'm putting towards building my business. So with that in mind, I need to make sure that I'm, one, in the right headspace, two, I have the finances to do these things, and then three, that I'm allowing God to bless the works of my labor and stuff like that. But in the comments below, let me know if you've read any of these books or if any of them stand out to you, where you might be considering it. Later on next month, I'll let you guys know how my 21-day devotional went for that. And before I get out of here, I wanted to give a huge shout out to all of you that recently subscribed for me. I'm just so grateful for that. So I've had, over the 100 subscriber mark for a few weeks now, but between the people that decided to unsubscribe, I wanted to make sure that it was final before I went out and gave everybody their praise. But I'm so thankful. Leave me a comment and I will see you guys in the comments into the next video. Bye.